JB from JB YouTube, and just wanted to talk a little bit about my new bike, which is the Norco. Now, just put this together. It does have a new motor. It's a TSDZ2 torque sensing motor. If you remember the old bike, had the X5404 Crystalite motor on the back, which is this whopping thing. Weighs about 13.5 kilograms. Battery pack weighs another 5 kilos. I've had it for about 3.5 years and it's been great. Done about, well, this says about 11,000 Ks, but I reckon I've done a bit more than that. Now, I've done a couple of upgrades to the bike, make it a little bit more comfortable. We've changed the shockers over to the Marzocchi bombers, and these are really nice plush shocks, really comfortable. Yeah, the other thing, I've changed the back shock to a downhill Fox Van R as well, so let's have a bit of a look at that. Yeah, look, the original shock that came with this bike, the Fusion Symmetry, was pretty useless. There is still an issue with the back swing arm, the mount here, the pivot mount. There's quite a bit of lateral movement, so as you're going around corners it does tend to move around a little bit, especially if you're going over a bump at the same time. But generally this frame is, you know, it's done the job. It's been a really good bike and I've got no problems with it. I still love riding it. It's great. What I wanted to do was make a new bike. Now this one is a Norco Fluid 2 2009 model. I picked that up from one of these Facebook groups for about 500 bucks. Now in its day this bike was worth around about $3,500. So it's actually quite a light bike. It's still fairly easy to pick up and move around. On the other hand, this thing is a bit of a monster and a bit hard to take anywhere really. It doesn't fit in the back of the car. So I just wanted something lightweight I could actually take around with me and do some mountain bike riding. And I've done a couple of rides already and it's great. I've only done a few 100 Ks on this so far, so just have a little bit of a look and we can cycle through. Yeah, I've only done, there you go, 269 Ks. So far so good, haven't had any issues. So the motor is, again, it's a TSDZ2, it's a torque sensing motor. What you do is you basically pull out your existing crankset, you push the motor through the bottom bracket and you tighten up the nut there, and generally the motor's just been sitting there. It hasn't moved, although there is a rear mount for it. You can't use it because I've got the swing arm, so the rear mount normally attaches through there. What I have had to do though, because you've got a bit of power running through the chain line, I did have to upgrade the back cassette and the chain. I was getting a lot of slipping, so of course you don't have that problem with the direct drive system, which is more like an electric motorbike really. This one is a bit more like a real bike, so it's a little bit more of a sleeper too, so you don't really get as much attention on the road, and it's a lot of fun to ride, and it does make more sense using this type of bike on mountain biking. You've got a lot of feel. For instance, with the torque sensing, you can push soft or hard, and it knows what you want to do, and it will apply that level of power. So what we have got here is some controls which give you a different level of boost. So again, it's not more of a speed thing, it's more about sensitivity. So yeah, like for mountain bike riding I was on level 2, and there was enough sensitivity there to be able to get me up to, you know, 25-30 k an hour on the trails and climb some really steep hills using the smaller gears. So yeah, but I find that in commuting it's actually a little bit tiring, and I tend to just use turbo mode and just put it on the smallest sprocket, the 12th tooth on the back. Comes with a 42 tooth on the front, and it has got a bit of an offset. The chain line is fairly good with this setup. If you try putting your own chainring, and you can put a separate chainring on the front too, the chain line will tend to come out a little bit further, which may not be ideal. What I have had to do, I have put my front derailleur back on, because I was finding that I was getting a bit of chain dropping as I was going up to the higher gears. And so far so good. The chain's been perfect, hasn't fallen off. So kind of really happy with this. Really happy with the lightweight setup. The motor is 3.5 kilos, and the battery is about a kilo. I can't remember exactly. I think it was 1.6. Probably less than that. I've got the actual, I will post the actual values. Now, this case here, I've made it on my own, 3D printed out of ABS, and just touched it up using a bit of spray putty and some paint. So it came up really nice. I've got a quick disconnect there, XT60, which then I can, if I do run out of power, I can probably put a separate backpack in my bag. So yeah, look, in terms of how this thing works, it's not like a rocket. It's not going to give you that massive acceleration that this thing is, and it kind of doesn't put that same grin on your face, if you know what I mean. However, it is a lot more practical, and I'm really loving it, to be honest. The feeling you get when you use this is, someone mentioned that it gives you younger legs. I find that it gives you Superman legs, and it's really a bit of a unique feeling. If you've actually got to feel it to really appreciate how it works. So yeah, I do recommend this. Now, if you're into like your super duper high speeds and going crazy on the dirt, this is probably more suited to you. And again, if you're into just some technical mountain bike riding, jumps and things, and you just want to keep everything really lightweight and, you know, not going crazy with the power, this thing is really great. Like I said, I've only done a few 100Ks with it, so I don't know how it's going to pan out in terms of longevity, but so far it's going great. It does exactly what I wanted it to do. So there are some hidden menus in this thing. So you do need to, there's a backlight there, you do need to turn this off, and then you can turn it on using the two buttons. Okay. Now what this will do, it'll enable like a hidden menu, so as you cycle through all the different features, it opens up this special one. Okay. Now, look, there's a little bit of a manual on what these do. This is a 6 km/h mode. I've got no idea how that works. This is like your top speed. I've actually set it to 45. It comes set at 25. And yeah, that's actually gone off now because I've cycled through it too slowly. But there's another setting there for wheel size and amps. And it comes at 16 amps preset, depending on the motor you buy. I mean, I think there's a 250 and a 350 watt version, and all that's different is that amp setting. There is a 500 watt version that's just come out, 48 volt. I haven't heard much about that, to be honest, but from what I've found, you know, I don't think you're going to need 500 watts on this type of bike. I just can't understand what you would do with that kind of power. I mean, I'm easily able to climb up hills, easily be able to keep up with the commuters, and easily be able to ride the trails at 30 plus k's an hour. So not sure exactly what you do with 500 watts, but yeah, I've got a feeling that if you crank the amps up on this thing, you'd probably exceed the 500. So that's something I am going to try. I'm going to use a watt meter and see what actual power we're getting out of this thing. But yeah, if you have any questions about this, you know, let me know. I will post a lot of links there, and you know, anything. We've actually got a special Facebook group that we're talking about this and keeping track of it. So you're welcome to join that. And yeah, definitely recommend it for now. I'm not going to get rid of this one because it's so much fun, but I just love both of them, to be honest. Okay, thanks for watching.